Good evening, friends, Mounjaros, GLPers, and everyone who is generally interested in what's going on with this whole Weight Watchers thing. We touched on it a little bit in the live stream on Friday Night Live. If you didn't get a chance to check out Friday Night Live, that's the icon in the upper right corner. You'll recognize it on a lot of my thumbnails. This is not Friday Night Live. It is a Monday Night Live. And so welcome. Thank you for joining, all of you who are joining. Let's see who we got in the chat. We've got Sue, we've got Abby, we've got Mel, we've got Vanessa, we've got Jess. Vanessa, welcome. Thank you all for joining the stream. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'll say it a million times. You're the best part of what we do here at Man on the Mounjaro. So yeah, thank you for joining me on a Monday night. Happy Monday. I hope that it wasn't Monday of all Mondays. I hope that it was a good start to all of your weeks. Want to just encourage anybody who's here. Chrissy, welcome to the stream. I want to encourage anyone who's here to hit that like, hit that bell, and hit that sub if you haven't already. Appreciate you helping the channel grow in that way. Thank you all to those of you who are so faithful to help me out in that way every time we go live. So tonight's topic is the Weight Watchers earnings call. So if you followed my channel at all, you know that I like to follow the earnings calls, especially for Eli Lilly. I don't necessarily intend on doing this for all Weight Watchers calls, but I thought that this one was a really good one to follow. The reason being is I've had many share with me over the last few days different articles about what the CEO, who is Sima Sistani, is the CEO of Weight Watchers. A lot of people curious about some comments that she made during the earnings call. And so there's a lot of articles floating around. And rather than read them and kind of get involved in what other people are saying about it, I thought, you know what, I'm just going to listen to this call myself. And I'm going to just kind of make my own notes about it. So I'm going to go through those notes tonight on the Weight Watchers earnings call. So I've got, some pretty decent notes to get through here. And then if you have any questions, please put them in the chat with a Q in front of them. And I'll try to go back through the chat and get to them as we get towards the end of the stream. So yeah, so the 2023 earnings call, first earnings call of the year, this would be for fourth quarter of 2022. And this was shortly after Weight Watchers had announced that they did indeed enter into a deal to purchase Weekend Health, which is the parent company of the online telehealth service Sequence, which is a subscription-based telehealth service that provides access to weight management medications. So again, we've talked a little bit about this marriage in weight loss heaven. I've shared a little bit about my feelings about this. I really feel like this is a huge step forward for folks who are dealing with obesity. Weight Watchers is a 3.5 million subscriber service that is really, over the course of this call, it was iterated and reiterated how it is moving to be a technology-first platform where, the OG Weight Watchers was a lot of in-person meetings. They're moving sort of away from that model into this, this online version. So they're putting a lot of research monies into the app platform, and obviously looking to provide a more holistic approach to the treatment of obesity. So yeah, it's a 3.5 million subscriber service, and last year its revenue was $1.4 billion. It is a massive, massive company. So I want to get into what the CEO Sima Sistani had to say. There also was a little bit peppered in there from their finance gal, but basically they're looking at in 2023 being able to deliver clinical intervention. So they have always addressed the behavioral. They've had, I think, as Jess mentioned in the last video, Jess in Process, one of the comments that she had made about Weight Watchers is that they do offer, the sort of the mental side of things through their meetings, which is something that I've never taken part of in Weight Watchers. But now being able to see it from the clinical side. So what are the things that the CEO had to say? Well, to start off, she said this isn't for everyone. It's not going to be for every single person on their platform, which, as I said, is currently 3.5 million people strong. But she was very specific to say for those of a BMI over 27 who also have a coexisting weight-related ailment, or a BMI over 30, those would be the people that would, typically qualify to look at these medicines. And if you followed my channel, you would know that those are pretty much they are the exact numbers that Wegovy kind of gives as an outline for people who would qualify for their obesity treatment, their semaglutide obesity treatment, Wegovy. They cited interest in how interest is growing in the anti-obesity medications, particularly in the GLP-1 category. That should be no surprise. There are many, many of us who are on the moon who have gotten their prescription through something like Sequence or Push or some of the other online providers here. Sue wanted me to name that CEO's first name again. Sima, Sima Sistani was the last name. So yeah, obviously huge growth market for them because of the added increase in interest in the anti-obesity medications. And also she cited, 2022 was a challenge for a lot of people who were hearing about this because they didn't necessarily have access, but with some of the supply chain issues getting ironed out and the insurance providers kind of getting on board with this, that they're a little bit more eager to adopt these as treatments, that they see that the growth is going to explode in this category. And really, their focus at Weight Watchers has been on treating the whole person. And we talked a little bit about this on Friday Night Live as well. If you haven't had a chance to check out my Friday Night Lives, please, in the description of this video, you'll be able to catch up with the playlist there, which has our most recent one from this past Friday, as well as all of the previous ones. So Weight Watchers sees their product as coupled with access to medicine as the first of its kind, the first kind of in its class offering that's actually in line with the FDA guidance for GLP-1 medications for weight loss, which says that it needs to be coupled with a strong nutrition program. They also believe that it's critical to develop and maintain the weight loss with GLP-1s, with something like a nutritional program, which obviously is something that Weight Watchers is very strong in. Again, 3.5 million subscribers strong. And they also touched on the importance that they feel is the part of it that some of the research, and I know that Robert Armstrong, you can check out his channel. He does some Mounjaro videos and a lot about fitness. He's talked about maintaining muscle mass. That's a topic of conversation on his channel that they've had, and they touched on that as well. And finding the right nutrition balance for somebody on GLP-1s to kind of manage against the potential loss of muscle mass. So they really are going to be developing, this is kind of later on in my notes, but they are going to be developing a specific nutrition plan for people who are on GLP-1s. So that'll be part of this rollout. So Weight Watchers doesn't see GLP-1s as a fad. That's another thing that they have been strong against not jumping on fad trains, but they see this as an advancement in science, which I 100% agree with, and in a way to, again, more holistically treat their members and now patients with obesity. So they will be tailoring their program uniquely. In one of the questions that kind of I had right off the bat that there wasn't a super clear answer to was when these services might be available. My sense is, based upon what they said, they're expecting to close this deal in the second quarter of 2023. And when they talked about their profit goals for this year, they really saw those profits rebounding big in quarters 3 and 4. So my sense is that will be on the backs of this acquisition and whatever offerings they have related to it. And so I would expect probably quarter 3, maybe late quarter 3 and quarter 4 for sure, where this will be, fully integrated into their Weight Watchers experience. So for those of you who are curious, the deal is for $106 million. And again, it's set to close in 2023. Some of the other things that I thought were worth mentioning in regards to, I talked about how they have a huge focus on digital first, which is a a huge shift for them who, have really kind of made their name through their Weight Watchers meetings, these in-person things. And they talked about how they're sort of divesting in properties and, some of that stuff that has more overhead associated with keeping running and moving a lot more of their dollars into the development of their app. They said later this year, they expect to have a chat function that will help grow their online community. And while they're reducing locations, they're increasing the ways for specific coaches to interact on a real personal level with every one of their members, which I think you can kind of compare to a Noom. I talked about in the last stream. I think they've got two things going for them. They've got the behavioral, and then they've got the biological, the medical side of this. But the one that's missing to me was more of that mental side, because again, not everybody's going to go to these meetings. It sounds like there is a big internal push to move to more of a Noom type model through their app. They're working on improving their algorithms as it relates to suggested recipes and suggested foods to eat, in addition to growing that kind of one-on-one coaching through their mobile app. So at the end, so these were the big updates as far as it relates to what we talk about on this channel, the GLP-1 access. They really see this as increasing access and availability to people who may not know where to take the first step towards something like a GLP-1 medication, or even the scores of people who are yet to find out and learn about GLP-1 medications. With all of the information that's floating around right now through the media, for better or for worse, they're getting a lot of attention. It's not always great attention, but they're getting attention. And that's going to cause people to start asking questions. And of course, with a subscriber base of 3.5 million people, there's a lot of people there, probably most of the people that are there that, would potentially qualify for these medications and be able to learn a little bit more about them through Weight Watchers. In the Q&A section of this call, somebody asked how they were going to market and who to market it to. And really kind of the way that the CEO had answered this question was really that because Sequence is such a streamlined tech platform, they have really smoothed the process of accessibility to these GLP-1s in the way that they have found a way to get authorizations from insurance companies and doctors. It's, I guess, a really smooth and unique process that they have to do that. And so they really see this as just like smoothing out that accessibility portion for people who are looking at these medications. And, the marketability would be, again, back to those kind of Wegovy standards, is anybody who's on their program that kind of fits into that 27 BMI with a coexisting condition or a BMI higher than 30. So for many, she said, and I appreciated that she said this, for many, she understands that these commitments to GLP-1s will be a lifelong commitment. And I think that's an acknowledgement of where the science and research is with these GLP-1s. So I thought that was, that's obviously another check in the box for the investors, is, that's something that will hopefully keep subscriber engagement, which is a huge thing for them and their profitability, to keep that kind of going strong and bolstered for the future. So there's a lot of people. That's it for my notes, by the way. We'll take some questions here in the chat here in a minute, but there's a lot of people who have, I've seen a lot of blog titles, article titles, video titles of people kind of chiming in on this. And a lot of people see it as a money grab. I mean, of course it is. They're a business, but that's not where my mind goes first. I think they are truly trying to develop a holistic product, one that is unmatched on the market. And I really see this. I see this as a huge benefit to people with obesity. Any time you can increase accessibility, increase education, and kind of reach out to the millions and millions of people who are struggling with obesity, that's a huge win. And I don't know that there's a better or bigger platform right now than Weight Watchers to be lending credibility to this advancement in science. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. Of course, the easy take is it's a money grab. Of course, that's part of it. Duh. But I think at the end of the day, it's creating a stronger product for the people that use it. So that's the update. That's the whole thing there. I think that at least gives a little bit more framework about, kind of what they're envisioning this to be. I've heard some people have said that they had read things that the CEO was saying that they won't offer this to everybody. I think again that's just more in line with what the FDA guidelines are for GLP-1s for weight loss and obesity in general, with the 27 BMI or and the co-ailment or the BMI higher than 30. I mean, that's what they have to say, because those are what the guidelines are. But I don't think that they intend on restricting access to certain members, or you have to be at a certain level for this or certain level for that. Certainly, the subscriber part of Sequence is part of what they liked, because that's the platform that they're on, so it's a natural fit. So of course that part of Sequence will remain the same, but it'll be folded into Weight Watchers program. I also really like the idea that they're going to have a tailored points system for people on GLP-1s. Me, as a person who is on GLP-1s right now for my diabetes as well as to lose weight, I like the idea that they would be tailoring a specific plan. Certainly the plan that I'm on already is tailored to me as a type 2 diabetic, but I'm excited for them to see that other end of it, perhaps and encouraging more proteins, or maybe even having goals of point numbers to hit in different categories. I don't know. I'll be interested to see what they come up with. See, a few more people have joined the chat. Cheryl, welcome to the stream. Appreciate you joining tonight. I see also Sandra is here. Welcome to the stream, Sandra. Miss Tapman, welcome to the stream. Hey, if you haven't already and you're here watching, would you mind hitting that like button so that this video can get become a friend of the algorithm, so to speak. Thank you. Also, a special shout out to each and everyone who is a member of this channel. If you become a member, give me a man on the Mounjaro emoji in the chat. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you are interested in becoming a member and getting exclusive content from Man on the Mounjaro, you can follow the link in the description below. So let's see, what was Sue saying here? I want to. One other factor, they would be a heck of a lobbying group to push for meds to be paid for by insurance. Oh, Sue, that's an excellent point. Excellent point. As a huge, billion-dollar company, billion-dollar a year company, yeah, absolutely. The fact that they are, certainly already lobbying in certain areas for sure. The fact that they would be lobbying probably on behalf of TROA, which is the Treat and Reduce Obesity Act that we're trying to get our Congress people and senators, representatives behind. BJ Davis started a petition, which is linked in the description of this video if you want to get over and sign that change.org petition. Mike, welcome to the stream, man. Thank you for being a member. I appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, so we got some members in the stream tonight. I appreciate each and every one of you. Let's see. Chrissy said, Melissa, that may be something you can ask them to do. Both my employer and my husband's insurance reimburse you for Weight Watch membership. So they did actually talk about that as well, Chrissy and Mel, in the stream. They named several large cities and companies that are already participating in that plan, where their employees do get reimbursed for being part of the Weight Watchers program. Again, those are some great conversations to be having with your employer right now, because again, Mounjaro tirzepatide will be approved for weight loss later this year. It's almost a guarantee, but it's not a guarantee that you will have weight loss medications on your insurance formulary. So now is the time to be talking to your doctors, or sorry, not your doctors, your employers, your HR people, your owners, however your business is structured, whoever the right person is to talk to within the company, to be asking them about adding these types of coverages for these medications. Tim, welcome to the stream, man. Thanks for joining. Tim's a buddy of mine. Just had lunch with him today. So yeah. I mean, really great, I think, call. I think it put some really good framework around what Weight Watchers is trying to accomplish with the acquisition of Sequence. I think it's a great move as a business move. I think it's a stock you have to start looking at very seriously. It'll be interesting to see what maybe some of the counter moves are from some of their, let's call them, competitors in the industry. To me, there's a lot of flavors of diet programs out there. I don't know that any of them are set up as well as as Weight Watchers is to make this kind of acquisition, but it'll certainly be interesting to see how companies like MyFitnessPal and Lose It try to incorporate this type of thing into what they're doing. Certainly, they would be wise to find a way, but it's not as turnkey like Weight Watchers is. So, absolutely, an exciting thing to be happening in the advancement of obesity treatment. Still looking for any questions that anybody may have. Otherwise, we'll wrap it up here in a couple minutes. I do want to just take a second to thank each and every one of you who are subscribers. If you're not already a subscriber, hit that subscribe button, hit that like, hit that bell, hit that sub to help this video and get through the algorithms. Chrissy says, in spouses, she can't do it as an employee, and they make you sign something that says you can be fired if you get it for someone else. Chrissy, what exactly are you talking about? I mean, obviously talk to your spouse. If your health plan is through your spouse's employer, they're going to be the ones that are going to have those conversations. You want to make sure that they're aware that these types of medications might not be on the formulary. They might not be approved for obesity treatment. So talk to your spouse if they are the one that kind of manages the plan so that they can have those conversations. Mike says, my employer is waiting to see what other companies are covering GLP-1 drugs. Interesting. Kind of a frustrating chicken or the egg problem. Yeah. Well, I think, one of the positive things, Mike, is that in this call, Sima Sistani, the CEO of Weight Watchers, was saying that they really foresee insurance companies continuing to adopt these, obviously highlighting on the idea that there are other employers that are already reimbursing for Weight Watchers. Certainly those are the types of employers who are going to see the value in adding GLP-1 treatments for weight loss as well for their companies. Dave, become the leader of Man on Mounjaro. Now, you want me to drop the? Is that what you're saying, Sue? Yeah, most people are serious about losing weight and are already at their lifetime weight. Yeah, absolutely. So I appreciate each and every one of you for joining the stream tonight. I know this was kind of an impromptu thing. I wanted to weigh in. I wanted to weigh in on this topic a little bit more, expound a little bit more upon what we talked about on Friday Night Live with BJ Davis this past Friday. I wanted to build on that conversation. I thought the best way was to listen to this earnings call and see what we could glean from it. The big takeaways, just to kind of recap, are that, they're doing this in the interest of serving what science is saying. And science is saying that you've got to treat obesity, chronic obesity, at a biological level. And these GLP-1s are a major, major advancement. It's a huge acknowledgement from a major company like Weight Watchers to say this is the way of the future to treat obesity. It lends a lot of credibility, I think, to what we've been advocating for on this channel, which is doctors and patients. And she actually almost said that verbatim. She said providers and patients, which is maybe a little bit more technical term for, who's, giving these scripts out in organizations like Sequence. But yeah, providers and patients. And they are decreasing the friction between that by giving access through Weight Watchers. And I think that is a great thing in the long run. We can debate what we think about Weight Watchers as a program. Like BJ asked me on the stream on Friday, said, are you in a position to basically tell people Weight Watchers is the way to go? And I said, I am hesitant to give anybody advice on what weight loss program to follow, because I'm still battling. I mean, maybe once I really kind of win this battle in the weight loss, I'll have more feelings. But again, Weight Watchers, to kind of recap what I said on Friday Night Live, who would I recommend Weight Watchers to? It's anybody who has a really unhealthy relationship with food as it relates to feeling like they're making a moral failing by eating certain foods or not. It takes that out of it for me. And I think it would for just about anybody with the simple point system. So I appreciate each and every one of you for joining. You're the best part of that stream. Before we end this, if you hit that like, hit that bell, hit that sub, anybody who's interested in becoming a member, many here tonight already are. You can follow the link in the descriptions. But I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for joining. And without further ado, we will see you on Friday night for the Friday Night Live. Thank you all so much for joining tonight.